smells of the brine of the vast and unfathomable ocean. It has not been an easy journey, though not the worst you've had either. Still, you felt the shift on the road. Times have grown tense and perilous. The factions quarrel, threatening reprisal over any transgression, insult, grievance. They threaten each other with war. They threaten the future of Eol itself. Yet, there is, as always, a glimmer of hope. If the leaders of the four factions agree to attend the gathering, if they find a peaceful way out of this peril. And so, Anchorage, the first on your list, draws closer with every step. Onwards then, Emissary. Beside you stands Prior, the silent apostate. Ahead awaits your other companion, Yorick, the Elden Hawk, having returned from his reconnoiter. Yorick, your compatriot on many expeditions. His armor covered in dust and bramble. A bold warrior, he came on the journey for the same reason you did. For all the banter, he also strives for peace. In actual war, warriors do not last for long.
Took you long enough, Emissary? Was beginning to think you got yourself lost without me.
The scales of his armor clink as he attempts to shake the dust from it.
And we know you can't rely on Prior there. He can't find a path even when standing on it.
Prior gestures at Yorick in a way which can only be interpreted as vulgar, then grins.
Worry not, friends, the road looks clear. No foes in sight. A shame, too. I wanted to fight something. Aye, will you? I wouldn't mind a good payday. Nothing much. Oh, seems calm enough. The easterly road will lead us to Skithheim.
Behold the gates of Skithheim, mighty capital of Anchorage. Guards patrol the ramparts while banners in blue cerulean turquoise flutter overhead. You hear the booming call of a horn, and the gates slowly begin to open, granting you entrance into its wind-stricken streets. The interior of the town hall is designed to display the splendor of Anchorage. The walls are adorned with murals of historical battles and triumphant victories, some perhaps more dubious than others. The central gallery cutting through the hall is lined with intricate sculptures of legendary Einherjar, gifted to the Herseer of Anchorage by masterful Trollkin artisans. The figure waiting by the hearth is aged, his beard gray, Yet he still stands proud and tall, the honored High Inquisitor of Anchorage, leader of the Alliance through endless hardships. He turns to face you, one eye smirking.
Emissary, ravens have foretold of your arrival.
His severe voice is undercut by a tinge of mockery. He shrugs in reply.
Of course, a gathering of the leaders of Eol in the ruins before Ishros. A common ground, notably, watched over by the specters of our ancestors. Tell me, who set you on this little expedition? How enigmatic. But it does pique my interest a fair bit. I'm considering it. I am, after all, a man of peace. The Alliance of Anchorage was formed to safeguard stability and order, and I won't be the one to betray my forebears. We'll make sure the factions stay in line. In their blind recklessness, they dabble with magic, putting all of us in danger. Deceivers and trespassers.
He trails off, mumbling off a slew of unclear indictments, then snaps his attention back to you.
However, to tell the truth, I'm not convinced you'll make it to the mountain. The path is dangerous.
Yorick fails in his attempt to stifle a derisive snort.
This Elden Hawk may be of warrior stock. Well, that remains to be seen. First, prove yourself worthy by defeating my warrior at the sawmill. If my shield maiden reports of your honorable victory, I will attend the gathering. Besides, you need wood to rebuild a bridge that was recently swept away by a deluge.
I've always wanted to battle a Valkyrie. Suppose a shield maiden will have to do.
A gale blows in from the ocean. Waves crash into the stone of the staiths, in a constant battle between land and sea. The port ahead holds rows upon rows of skiffs, sloops, trade cogs, galleys, longships, rapid vessels of war for cutting through treacherous waters. At the farthest dock, you see the pride of Anchorage's armada, Ichthyanir, the fastest flagship ever built, with armament to match. Or near the third, the Protector aims to hold control over the ocean. Closer now, the many kin of Anchorage move to and fro, busy with their routine. Folks bustle between warehouses and boats, carrying goods on and off. Salt-bitten sailors sit on benches, smoking herbs with acrid smell. A stunning siren glides by, followed by her retinue of warriors, their eyes glinting with a warning of violence. Or is it something else? No one else pays the group much attention. The lighthouse calls ships home. The bitter sting of the frigid sea wind brings a tear to your eye. You see a shield maiden, noble fighter of Anchorage, protector of the people, come flame and storm. Her armor gleams in the frigid sunlight as she brushes the mane of her war horse.
Welcome, Emissary. Talk of your quest seems to be spreading fast. Are you tough enough for what lies ahead?
Don't underestimate us, lass. In my time, I've fought worse than you.
That's what we're here to find out, Sir Hogg.
The shield maiden mounts her horse, preparing her armaments.
Defeat me in honorable combat, and you may continue your quest. If you fail here, you will be no match for the dangers that lie ahead.
I wish we'd had that bed. Oh, I'd be sleeping on a mound of golden coins tonight.
Yorick chomps on a mushroom, then readies his mace and shield. Prior, solemn for once, arms crossed in front of his chest, bows deeply to the shield maiden. The shield maiden raises her blade in resignation, then thrusts it into the ground, a sign of respect from a noble guardian of Anchorage. She brushes her auburn hair away from her face.
Well fought, Emissary. You have proven your mettle. Be careful, though, on your path. The creatures of Slaumir are not to be trusted. The magic of Phobos is noxious. We all wish for peace, but sometimes the only way to maintain order is through strength. In any case, the High Inquisitor will be notified of your success. You may use the sawmill.
She picks up her sword and sheaths it, turning to leave. Wood from the forests that cover Eol, used for construction, fuel, tools, and weapons. Abundant and versatile. Alongside ore, it is the most commonly used material. Yet be wary of excessive logging Worm's paradise. It may draw the wrath of the Earth Mother, for trees also live and breathe, and are connected to the land below. The ruined half of a wooden bridge lies ahead. The river Elivahar flows down from the towering mountains in the west, cutting through Anchorage lands on its way to the ocean. Rebuilding a bridge is not easy, but after some hearty labor, the task is done. Not a moment too soon, the thought crosses your mind. And you didn't fall into the water once. The road to the portal heads due north. The piece of gold glints in the sunlight, a precious mineral used for trade all across Eol. Mortals dig for it, mortals mold and process it, mortals fight and die over it. A mere substance of the soil, its value is arbitrary, based on that very glint and the tacit agreement between mortals who have deemed it to have value. Still, one cannot deny, especially when holding a piece of gold between their fingers, the powerful effect it has. The portal of teleportation is a stone platform, raised slightly above the rest of the ground. Its surface, ancient and scarred, is covered with various unknown symbols and glyphs. The air around the platform throbs and pulses with vast magical energy.
Never been fond of these. Teleportation's not a natural way to travel.
Yorick shudders, his spines bristling.
Makes me queasy in the stomach is what it does. It doesn't feel right.
Yorick snorts, then wags his finger. Queasy it may be, but it solves the issue of long-distance travel for the time being. Step onto the platform and jump into the abyss, Emissary.
So we have to go to Tenebrae. Aye, but these Verbosians give me the jitters.
A faint shiver passes through Yorick's spiny backside. Prior, his brow furrowed, signs of criticism, followed by a question.
You just haven't met enough of them, especially the prophets and their ilk. The flock, I mean, the orderlies who run Phobos. Suppose they're trying to unnerve us on purpose, crafting a facade of intimidation. Well, it works, that's for sure.
The vast chasm of the quarry looms ahead, a pit of pitch-black darkness. No light escapes from its depths. Across the quarry, you see a row of creatures, minuscule like ants, scurrying on a footpath, heading to toil in the darkness. You shout a greeting across the chasm, but get no reply. Not even an echo. Sound disappears into the dark alongside light. never to return. Several cranes tower above the quarry pit, ready to lift out the wealth from below. Minecarts dangle from hooks, with the crimson of blood iron glinting like red stars against a cosmic backdrop. The ominous town hall of Tenebrae looks far more pleasant on the inside. The walls are covered with colorful tapestries. On them, various strange creatures posing in unnerving ways, doing unidentifiable acts. Yet there is something lively about all of them. The craft of these is remarkable, the material smooth and soft, woven of spider silk spun by the horrors of Phobos. In the middle of the hall stands a shadowy creature, one of the prophets, arms raised in greeting. Dark obscurity surrounds them in the form of a mantle, a multitude of eyes intermittently blinking within it.
A guest in our citadel.
Their voice echoes through the hall, the direction it's coming from difficult to discern.
Welcome, visitor, and partake in our hospitality. What brings you to us? Ah, certainly, age-old capital of the forgotten people. But we remember. Nothing but dust now. Nothing but dust. Is dust what we will one day also become? Or are we dust already? Lacking comprehension, animated only by the potency of magic.
The umbral mantle around the prophet whirls with increasing speed.
So then, emissary, we take it you wish us to attend? But what is this peace to us? We, children of Phobos, followers of the hallowed creator, ever tormented by our neighbors, hated by the other factions for who we are, what we are. They come at us with blade and spear and axe and spell to kill us and to steal from us because they feel it. Fear of the unknown. Dark times are ahead, but we embrace change. We thrive in it. That is our strength.
An eruption of laughter booms from every direction of the hall at once.
Alas, would that we could see trouble already brews. The road to our portal is blocked, and our mana refinery seized from us. If you would be so kind to reconquer it, then surely one good deed will be met with another. The refinery will provide enough mana to clear the way, though where you get a spell is not our concern.
Don't you have troops and workers for this kind of work?
The many eyes narrow in what feels like ridicule. Murmur of madness nods. Murmur of madness stands in silence, but but you can still sense the mischievous smile that isn't there. They wave you to depart. The Tower of Magic, wherein warlocks and conjurers explore the possibilities of spell casting. Here, spells can be bought for a hefty price. But today, due to the nature of your quest, the Phobosians gift you a spell free of charge. Before the Manor Refinery lies a makeshift camp. Accursed raiders await you, weapons primed. Golden bronze plating glimmers in the rays of the sun. To your surprise, these are forge troopers.
Recommendation: leave now, whoever you are.
The observer slowly glides a few paces towards you, his mechanical tentacles swaying in the breeze.
We can take him. Fancy Ford's tech won't stand up to a solid blow from my mace.
Fairly agitated, Prior signs for caution. His motions catch the eye of the observer. The scale plating on its tentacles flare up, then subside.
Apostate, unexpected to see you in present company. It will not restrain us from what must be done.
Prior gestures a sequence of messages to the observer, who proceeds to ignore the Kemdi rebel.
None of your concern. A warning was delivered. Ignored. Prepare for combat.
Forge troopers lie defeated in the grey dust. You gaze at the motionless mechanical frame of the observer. Nothing to indicate it had ever been alive. No liquid spilled. A gust picks up flakes of the wooden shell of the tronco. You consider how much trouble this means for the state of Eol. Another outrage for Murmur of Madness to bring to the gathering. Prior stands farther away, his back awkwardly tense, cleaning his weapon. Not paying any attention to the remains of the fallen, straining to do so.
A challenge after all. We could use a chance to recover from the bruises.
Yorick grunts, rubbing his shield down. A trace of blood smears his forehead.
Indeed. Throw me into the radiant wellsprings of Viridis, please. I'll never leave that warm embrace. You okay, Prior? Paradise beckons. Did you hear?
Prior turns to face Yorick, nods.
Come then, what are we waiting for? Let's get a move on.
Blood iron deposits are common throughout Slaumia, the blighted land of Phobos. Many are familiar with its crimson hue and sharp edges, as if the mineral itself wants to injure those who grasp for it. Blood iron is considered a vile substance, as the prophets of Phobos use it to fuel their rituals. In truth, blood iron has many uses. The consequences depend on the user. It is the lifeblood of the land, taken form, its striking beauty only amplified by its dangerous nature. The mana refinery puffs out fumes of various smells and colors. The space around the building throbs with unnatural power. This is where rare resources can be refined into all-purpose mana. Processed and refined mana. The greenish powder falls through your fingers, each grain tingling with the power of potentiality. Mana is the material basis for casting powerful spells, bending natural laws to your will, transforming the world itself. It ought to frighten a sober mind that such power is readily available for most. But power blinds, turns people greedy, selfish, willfully obtuse. Much has been destroyed with magic. But then again, much has also been created by it. More than you know. The impact of the spell was more powerful than you assumed. A crater now resides where the pile of rubble used to be.
Whoa, 'twas an explosion and a half. Fair point to them. It's why I personally don't trifle with it. Might get my nose blown clear off. And I like my nose. I wager the Forgekin we fought blocked the path when they came through here. Odds are good, though. Seems like poor play on their part, rendering them stuck on this side of the world. Nobody left to ask, unless we ask Meridian.
He shrugs, rubbing his fuzzy chin thoughtfully. stand before the gates to Verdant Vale, blooming capital of paradise. The air hums and buzzes with the vitality of nature. An undescribable diversity of green hues strike your eyes from the thriving lushness of forest and jungle. The gates swing open by unseen means, allowing passage. The life seed is most often found growing across Viridis, the core territory of paradise. These particular saplings do not easily take root, and few understand why this is so. Coming across a life seed is usually taken as a sign of good fortune, for the vines are known for their myriad healing and cleansing properties. The flourishing town of Verdant Vale twists around you. Colorful plant life, buzzing with a vitality so potent you can nearly feel it with your skin. Trees and flowers, roots and vines all intertwined into dynamic architectural shapes. The whole is lined with 2 rows of pedestals. Upon them, an exhibit of the most intricate jewelry the nimble fingers of paradise are able to craft. A small-statured Wymax sits on a stump-like seat, attention set on a tiny item in his hand. He wears a vibrant garb made from the fibers of plants only grown in Viridis. His woodcraft mask reveals a wide smile of sharp teeth.
Do you know what this is?
Pico demonstrates the item as you approach, a greenish root-like trinket.
Not quite. Close. Crafted from the shell of a life seed, the root still attached. Excellent material for rings, necklaces, bracelets, the like. Leftover matter from that which nurtures our lives. Not just paradise, but all of Eol. Yourself included. And so we dedicate these small gifts to the Earth Mother. No point letting it go to waste, don't you think? But lessons in artistry are not why you are here. Ah, wonderful! We must have peace. It's the only way to safeguard nature, to care for life. Such a momentous chance cannot be wasted, of course. But we know the Earth Mother has to give her blessing upon this endeavor. Else we may all succumb to disharmony. A shrine not far from here. Lay upon it the appropriate offering, and you will be granted the benevolence of Eolmar. That's for you to figure out, my friend.
Pico's mouth widens into a sly grin.
Worry not. Have my booklet on the dialects of paradise. With it, you can decipher the writings on the shrine. A gift from the herb doctors, given the importance of your quest. In addition, it's clear your travels have been hard. Yet the road to the mountain may hold even more unkind surprises. You won't make it with injured and tired troops. Visit our arm, rest, and heal.
You don't have to tell me twice, Chief.
No one awaits you in the town hall at the moment. An Om is a place for weary travelers to rest and recover from their injuries. The tavern-like four-hole is a bustle of visitors, a motley of people chatting with each other, occasionally calling for new drinks. At the far end of the hall are doors that lead to the famous pools of paradise.
The road makes one forget what comforts are. I'm a creature of comfort, though folks may not think so looking at me. This is what makes the hardship worth it, you know. Moments of calm between the struggles. You can stand here and be as pessimistic as you want. I'm going for a swim, and maybe a mug of ale.
The offerings crumble, forming into dust that coats the surface of the tablet, filling in the cuts of the inscriptions. A greenish flash of light blinds you for a moment. The dust vanishes.
That's it, I guess. Can't say I feel as if a godlike blessing has fallen upon me.
Crier blinks away the after effects of the flash of magical light, shrugs. He gestures down the road.
Hey, should head on through the portal, if Pico's up to his words.
Emissary. Pico the Exuberant sends his regards, and reminds to be wary of the heretical Forgekin. May the Earth Mother guide you on this quest. Please, use the portal at your will.
The warden gestures a salute with her head, then darts off to join the rest of the pack. You stand at the sturdy metal gates of illustrious Lux Superior, capital of Forge. Sunlight glints off the golden surface, blinding any inattentive viewer. Techno-magic turrets guard the corners of the gate, ready to disintegrate any invaders. The gates glide open. You stand at the courtyard garden of the Museum of Memory, Forge King sit on benches next to glittering fountains, conversing of mundane matters while enjoying the pleasant weather. A group of workers carry new items into the museum. The museum itself holds collections of relics of the past: tools, gadgets, jewelry, weapons, artifacts, remnants of forgotten conflicts, and obsolete technologies. 2 separate halls were built for the vestiges of lost biospheres, the flora and fauna, from Falloy, the destroyed homeland of centaurs, and the Golden Coast, the destroyed homeland of observers. An elderly centaur ambles down the central walkway. He stops at a memorial column, its surface covered with intricate carvings of the history of Falloy. At the base, he lays a bouquet of flowers, bright and solemn. The gleaming golden-hued walls of the town hall strike you with their overwhelming ostentation. The room itself is straight and angular, surfaces adorned with a hexagonal pattern. An array of podiums partition the hall into sections. Upon these you see a selection of sleek weaponry and unfamiliar technological aggregations. An oppressively tall and rigid figure stands awaiting, hands clasped in front. Their face is hidden behind a mask of shining white ceramic. A set of steel composite tentacles form a circular shape, a halo behind their back.
Emissary, the Order has expected your arrival.
Her voice sounds from the general region of her neck, mechanical, monotone in cadence.
Word travels fast from one end of Eol to the other. Mount Ishros beckons those who wish to talk of an accord. We, enlightened of Forge, are the 4th and last on the account. The others have agreed to attend, I gather. I inquire, why should we agree to this?
Even through the fuzzy monotone, you can sense, if not hear, the sneer.
Forge has no need or want for the superstitious atavisms of the other factions. We hover above this banality, sailing upon vast oceans of knowledge and progress, our sights set to the stars. The others would be no match for our technological superiority. Their threat is negligible. Perhaps. Therefore, I will grant your quest respect, in return of a favor. Forge will attend if you retrieve an artifact stolen from us. Find the culprit and mete out deserved punishment. They escaped through the southern gate. Access to our portal is restricted, so the thieves are still within 8-fold. Once you've retaken the artifact, well, you may hold on to it for the time being. It may be of assistance, after all. I expect it returned at the mountain.
If you're all such advanced warriors, why can't you find it yourself?
Why waste resources required elsewhere, when one such as yourself presents himself soon enough?
I'm not a sellsword, beholden to the whims of pompous blowhards.
Forge takes no offense. We admire a fiery spirit. You would go far in the embrace of our augments.
No thanks. I prefer my meat the regular way. You know, soft, squishy, meaty, not ceramic scales and metallic limbs.
Meridian gives no reply and continues to tower imperiously. You decide it's time to depart.
These tracks by the signpost are messy. Which way?
Prior points westward.
Prior may be right. Difficult to sneak by any guards. They're likely hiding in the wilderness.
A forge guard post before the portal. Young Kemdi troopers amble about, proud and enthusiastic. One is busy polishing the golden sheen of his cuirass. Another practices slashes at a training dummy. The corporal watches you intently.
Emissary, the Archdruid notified us of your hunt for the thieves. No one's gotten past here. I can guarantee that.
Prior signs something to the corporal, to which the guard replies in kind. After a fairly lengthy exchange of gestures, the corporal nods to Prior, then turns to address you.
They're hiding somewhere. Find them, but be careful.
The fading path leads to a small clearing between the mountains. You see the figure of a puppet master, a creation of Phobos. She swirls around wildly, as if searching for something, not paying your approach any attention.
Where'd you drop it, you bonehead?
The puppet master shouts to the shadows of a grove. You squint your eyes to see what she's shouting at, but can't make out anything, until a tiny bit of the grayness itself suddenly twitches. The gray emits a faint sound. The puppet master spins around to face you.
The artifact is mine. You will not get it!
A sensation of powerful magic gathers around her as she spreads her arms. Slowly, carefully, something clambers out of the darkness of the grove.
Oh, not one of these.
Yorick groans, his face turned ashen. foes lie defeated. The puppet master and the eerie thing no longer draw breath. Still, they signify the bind everyone on Eol finds themselves in. Why would Phobos steal an artifact from Forge?
Nothing in their belongings. I guess they lost it? Or, you think so?
Yorick rubs the back of his neck, a puzzled look adorning his face.
Aye, well, you can say that about most of Phobos. It's what happens when magic is twisted for unnatural purposes.
There, hidden within the sea of leaves, you notice the glint of a metallic object. After brushing the organic detritus aside, you find the trident dagger. As you pick up the artifact, a faint swirl of magical energy passes through your hand.
You found it. The artifact? Archdruid Meridian will be pleased to hear this. You may use the portal.
The Chemdi Corporal salutes, then marches off to gather up his companions. This is it, dear emissary. Benefits to faction leaders have been rendered. They demanded favors in return of attending the gathering, an event meant to help all the peoples of Eol. This very moment grants those in power a chance for diplomacy before discord slices too deep, and blood begins to spill across the land. Are they humble enough for it? The ancient ruin is a suitable location, of course. One hopes the collapsed walls and lost homes remind of what is at stake, what happens when the sword of retribution is let loose onto Eol. And so, Mount Ishros awaits.